Okay, I'm going to go over a quick overview of the back office so you can kind of see some of the components. I'm in our master login, but anyway, what we have here is your phone number. It's a pull down of 602-480. That's the most common in Phoenix. If you need to change it, you just hover over top of it and actually type in the different number. It's very important. Make sure you're getting the correct phone number from a customer. And as you type it in, here's your first name. It keeps on, the fields keep advancing over. So your first name would be me, Eric. And then the last name. Now, the address here, I just chose that. There's address button. If you can see over here is the address button, then the customer file, the order, and then the payment page. So the customer file, this is the address, 123 West Main, and then pull down your zip code. I'm just going to choose one. Phoenix, Arizona. There is Phoenix. You can do, if you're a service or need to type in a different city, you can do so. If there's any special instructions just for this order only, this goes to the driver. And if there's any driver instructions on the account, they go over here in this amount. Now, this is good for keeping track of accounting marketing purposes of clicking on if it's a residence, business, hotel, dorm, etc. And then the place of business, you might want to put the name of the place of business right here. And if there's a zip code for a lunchtime delivery because it's going outside of area. That is pretty much the rundown of that. Now the little calculator up here is for adjustments. If you need to make an adjustment, it automatically comes off a delivery dime. If there is a restaurant, it'll show up just below delivery dime, another box. You'll need to take the radio button and radio button the restaurant to take the deduction off the restaurant. You can kind of learn about the adjustments a little bit. If there is an adjustment problem, you can just save it, do an adjustment off a delivery dime, or you can go ahead and save the file and learn other training from us. This is the save button here. It's a little floppy disk up here. This house button is your house page, which you're on, which you have a lot more items because you're looking at my back office. You only have a few. But then the red car is your dispatch screen. Go back to the red car, you'll see the drivers in the dispatch screen. The drivers that are lined up ready for delivery. The first one is number 1, 2, and 3. These numbers change. 1, 2, and 3. They change as whoever's available. Terry just did the last order, so he's last up. Next person would be me. I was driving at lunchtime. So anyway, the queue here, this is the driver. To assign a driver, like Gary will be coming on shortly. So you click on the tab pull down. See if you can see this a little bit better. The tab pull down. You go ahead and choose Gary, and then you click on the open up the double arrows here. The double arrows, it'll allow you to open up their bank. You leave it the same, but you need to choose their cell phone. So you'll scroll down to Gary. Find Gary here, Gary 14, and hit done. It will sign Gary on up here, so you can see that he has a sign on with his phone number. And he's ready to work. So he's the 4th person because he's the last that just got signed on. It shows a little cell phone number, that is indication. This box here to the right is just, I'm going to say, can you work tonight? I'm just sending him a message and he'll reply to me. So this is the message box. If you need to, once orders come in here, you will, I'm going to unplace an order from my screen. What happens is the order sits right here. It's red because it's past its time. But if a person accepts an order, it'll turn green with a block right here in the first part of it. When they're at a restaurant, it'll turn to the middle part, which so you know where they are, and then the very last part is en route. En route means they're going to the customer. And then when they hit 4, this will actually go to complete. But you can also drag it by using your cursor over top of the beginning part of each of the names right here and right there. You can put your cursor over top of it and then drag it up here to complete. And then when closing out a driver, you'll take their whole name, grab it right here above the name there, and then you'll take it and you'll scroll it all the way up to log out. Let go, and then the log out screen will come up. You can see here's the totals. To run credit cards, the total column here is 191 or 171. I got an additional tip, that's why it's red. So if I make this 0, you're going to see the total was 161.71. He asked the tip drivers if they have any additional tips. I got $10 extra. So here I'm going to actually type in 171.91. So my total changed and turns red, just so I know that, you know what, maybe I typed it in wrong, but I didn't. So if you do type it in wrong, it'll turn red and it'll indicate, hey, I made a change here. But when you copy a total like 154.05 and you put it over here in the balance button, because there's no additional tip, that's the amount you're going to run this credit card for. You can run it individually, like I'm going to click on the button here. So if it gets close to closing out credit cards, or you have a lot of orders, you might want to close them out and you know their totals amounts, you can click on them. If you don't, you will fill in the bank amount. The bank amount is cash due. Since we cash our drivers out every week by check, this cash due amount has to match the paid amount in order to get this button log out to display itself. So if I type in there a negative, if you see that negative right there before, sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. So it's a negative 65.14. As soon as I did the 14, you see how this is grayed out, this log out, and hit the 4, and it makes it available. Now you can go ahead and hit log out, and log out will log out this whole page. So that's how you log out a driver. So I'm just going to save and close at this time because I'm not going to log myself out yet. So that's how you do that. Just play with the system. If you need to find out who's closest to, I don't know, a particular area, you can do all message, or at the end of the night, I use all message for any extra tips. Please let me know your extra tips. Now, our drivers are trained to, after each order, to indicate what their tip amount is. So if you'll go in there, he can see his total can end up being $45.39 for that order. And then, so that's how they communicate to us. So that's pretty much the back office. The other thing up here you might miss, is good to point out, is this map split. It's not perfect and not totally accurate, but you can actually click on it and see the route of where the drivers are, and then it'll draw a line across to where the restaurant is and give you an X. So you know where the restaurant is and where the customer is by drawing diagonal lines. It doesn't show it in here right now because I don't have anything. Let me see if I unplace an order just a moment. Unplace this order, and then hit the split map. Split map will show me there's one order right here. This restaurant, there's the X indicating, okay, here's the driver, probably at 16th Street in Camelback where he's hanging out, and then that's where he last dropped off, and then here's the customer. So you know that's where it's going. This is the restaurant and that's the customer. There's a line here. If I pulled him away because I knew he was over here, it would create a line across. You can barely see it. I'm just going to move me. You can see the line that it created. So, okay, so that's how that works. Other than that, there's a closeout button up here at the top that'll take you back to the front. That's it for dispatching.